Uh, Hello everyone. Thank you for joining CCC Book Club. So we are reading the third eye currently, and I'll tell you a quick recap about what we have done. So a little boy called Lobsang Rampa, full name Tuesday Lobsang Rampa. There was an important ceremony, and when they're 7 years old, astrologists come and they guess they will predict what his future will be, and Lobsang Rampa's future was predicted to be a monk surgeon. So he has to go to the Lamasari and he has to be there. And something sad his father said that if you don't get admitted into Lamasari, you can't come home. You're a stranger for our family. So he gets admitted and he's very happy. Not happy, but he has to just fit in there. So that's what happens until now. Now we are knowing the life of Lobsang Rampa. Now he just opened his third eye, which is pretty painful. And yeah, so that's what happened. Masters, I request you to put your video on so we know you're here. Okay. And happy Republic Day, everyone, and Australia Day. So, okay, let me share my screen. The third eye. Okay. Share. Can I everyone, can you see my screen share?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Good. So were we here, guys? Were we here, Masters?
Yep.
Started the 8th chapter.
Masters,
Potala? Yeah, we are here, right?
Masters, do not unmute your mic unless you're asked to.
Okay. Yeah, here's here. We were here. So, okay. So we are here. Now we come to the next stage. You have to conceal your wooden drinking cup in your left sleeve. You'll be given tea when you're seated. The cup is held like this, wedged against the sleeve and forearm. It is reasonable. If you are reasonably careful, it will stay in place. Let us practice with the cup up the sleeve and remembering the scarf. Every morning of the week, we rehearsed so that I could do it automatically. At first, the cup would fall out and clatter across the floor when I bowed, but I soon mastered the knack of it. On the Friday, I had to go before the Lord Abbot and show him that I was proficient. He said my performance was a worthy tribute to the training of Brother Mingya Donda. The next morning, Saturday, we walked down our hill to go across to the Potala. So, masters, they're still practicing because practice makes perfect. So they put it up their sleeve and they're doing the performance. They showed Lord Abbot before going, and he said, "Yeah, that's good." Our Lamasari was part of the Potala organization, although it was on a separate hill close to the main buildings. Ours was known as the Temple of Medicine and the Medical School. Our Lord Abbot was the sole physician to the Dalai Lama, a position not altogether to be envied, because his job was to not cure an illness, but to keep the patient well. Not any aches or disorders were thus considered to be due to some failure on the part of the physician. Yet the Lord Abbot could not go and examine the Dalai Lama whenever he wished. He had to wait until he was sent for when the patient was ill. But on this Saturday, I was not thinking of the worries of the physician. I had enough of my own. So this describing like what school there is and what school in Dalai Lama they're explaining and everything like that. And a lot of other complex stuff, but but I hope you guys understand. Uh, at the foot of our hill, we turn towards the Potala and our way through the crowds of avid sightseers and pilgrims. These people had come from all parts of the Tibet to see the home of the inmost one, as the as we would call the Dalai Lama. If we could catch a glimpse of him, they would go away feeling more repaid from long journeys and hardship. Some of the pilgrims had traveled for months to make this foot on to the holy to, on foot to make this one visit to the Holy of Holies. So they're describing what people are there, what they're doing, how they had come, and how like special the Dalai Lama is. Here there were farmers, nobles from distant provinces, herdsmen, traders, and the sick who to hope to obtain a cure in the Lhasa. All thronged the road and made the 6 mile circuit around the foot of the Potala. Some went hands and knees, others stretched their length from the ground, arose and stretched again. Yet some, the sick and infirm, hobbled along, supported by friends or with the aid of 2 sticks. So they're describing how rare the Potala is and what they do at the Potala and the Dalai Lama and what they and like describing how they walk. Everywhere there were vendors, some selling hot butter tea heated over a swinging brazier. Others were selling foods of various kinds. There were charms for sale and amulets blessed by a holy incarnation. Old men were selling printed horoscopes to the gullible. Farther down the road was a group of cheerful men trying to sell hand prayer wheels as a souvenir of the Potala. Scribes were there too. For a certain sum, they would write a note certifying that a person paying them had visited the Lhasa and all the holy places there. There had been no time for any of these. Our objective was the Potala. So they're describing all the all the people and how what they were doing and stuff like that. Once again, masters, I request you to put your video for the whole session if you can. The private residence of the Dalai Lama was at the very top of the building, for one may not live higher. An immense staircase goes all the way up to the top, running outside the buildings. It is more like a street of stairs than a mere staircase. Many of the higher officials ride their horses up to save them from walking. We met many during our ascent. At one point, higher up, the Lama lingered on the stop and pointed. There's their former home, Lobsang, and the servants are very active in the courtyard. I looks perhaps should be better to leave unsaid what I felt. Mother just riding out with their retinue or servants. Zoo was there as well. No, my thoughts are at the time just remain mine. The Potala is a self-contained township on a mountain. Here are conductors of the association, the secular affairs of Tibet. This building or group of buildings is the living heart of the country. the focus of thoughts of all hopes. Within these walls are treasure houses containing blocks of gold, sacks of gems, curiosities in the early stage. The present buildings are only about 350 years old, but they are built on a foundation of a former palace. Long before there was an armed fort on the top of the mountain, deep down the mountain for a volcanic, there is a huge cave with passage radiating from it. At the end, also one lake. Only a few, the privileged few, had been there or only know about it. But outside in the morning sunlight, we were making our way up the steps. Everywhere we heard the clattering of prayer wheels, the only form of wheels in Tibet. Because of the old prediction which says the wheels will come out into the country, peace will go out. Okay. So they're describing a lot, and then like finally Lobsang Rampa saw his mother, but he didn't bother saying hi because he's like sad and like he wants to keep his thoughts to himself. Eventually we reached the top of with the giant guards swung open the gate as they saw Lama Mingya turned up, whom they knew very well. We stayed on until we reached the very top of the roof, where the tombs of former incarnations of the Dalai Lama and his present private residence. A large curtain of yak's wool, colored maroon, covered the entrance. This pulled aside on our approach, and we entered a large hall which is guarded by green porcelain, masters dragons. Many rich tapestries hung from the walls, depicting religious scenes and ancient legends. On low tables, there are articles to delight a collector's heart. Statues of various gods and goddesses of mythology and Sony ornaments. By certain doorway on a shelf rested a book of novels, and I wished I could open it and see our name inside to reassure me. For on this day in the place, I felt very small and insignificant. At 8 years of age, I had no illusions left, and I wondered why the heights of the land wanted to see me. I knew that it is highly unusual, and it was my opinion that there were more hard work behind it. Hard work or hardship. A llama robed in cherry red with a golden stone around his neck was talking with Lama Minja Donda. Masters, did you not see my screen the whole time?
Your voice is low, but we're able to see your screen.
My voice is low?
Yes.
Okay, I'll talk louder.
Actually, it's not low. I think it's a problem on your side, Hazel.
Oh, Hazel, your volume might be low. Check that, okay?
My volume is full.
It might be a problem on your side. If you have headphones, you might want to switch to that.
Okay, so a llama robed in cherry red with a golden stole across his neck was talking with Lama Mingya Donda. The latter seemed to be very well known indeed. Everywhere I had been with him, I heard His Holiness is interested, wants a private talk with him alone. My guide turned to me and said, "It is time for you to go in, Lobsang. I will show you the door, then enter alone and pretend that it is just practice again." And we have been doing this all this week. Put her arm around my shoulders and led to the door, whispering, "There's no need for you to be worried. In you go." There was a little push at the back to urge me into the stood, and I watched. I entered a low, and at the far end of the long room was the inmost one, the 13th Dalai Lama, sitting in a silken cushion of saffron color, dressed as that of an ordinary Lama. His head wore a tall yellow hat with flaps reaching to his shoulders. He was just putting down a bowing my head. I walked across the floor. When I was just 5 feet away, I sank to my knees and bowed 3 times. The Lama Mingyur Tondap had passed me the silk scarf just before I ended, placed it at the feet of the inmost one. He bent forward and put his across his wrist instead of the usual around the neck. Little dismayed now, I had to walk backwards to the nearest cushion, and I had observed that were all quite a distance away near those walls. The Dalai Lama spoke for the first time. "Those cushions are too far from you to walk backwards. Turn around and bring one here so that we can talk together." I did so and returned with the cushion. He said, "Put it here in front of me and sit down." When I seated him, he said, "Now, young man, I've heard some remarkable things about you." So now he went all the way from like his Lama Seri to here, and he's now practicing that thing. When I seated, he said, "Now, young man, I have heard some remarkable things about you. You're a clairvoyant in your own right, and you have the power further increased by the opening of the third eye. Seen records of your last incarnation. I have also the astrologer's predictions. You have had a hard time at the start, but attained success in the end. Masters, I please request you to put your video on, and Joshua also. Thank you, Hakel and everyone.
Everyone, please on your cameras so that we know you're attending.
And also, you have to on your video the whole time because it's better.
Please, if you're able to, please on your video the whole time so we know you're at your screen.
Yeah. Or else I feel like nobody's listening.
Thank you, Izzy. Thank you, Ryan.
I have also the astrologer's prediction. You've had a hard time at the start, but you'll attain success in the end. You'll go to many foreign countries the world over, countries of which you have not heard yet. You will see death and destruction and cruelty such as you can't imagine. I did not know why he was telling me this. I knew it all, every word of it, and had been done since I was 7 years of age. I knew well that I could learn medicine and surgery in Tibet and then go to China and learn the same subjects all over again. But the inmost one was still speaking, warning me not to give any proof of unusual powers. I had been to India and China, and in those countries one can discuss the greater realities, but I have met many from the West. The values are not as ours. The worship commerce and gold. Their scientists say, "Show us the soul, produce it, let us grasp it, weigh it, test it with acids. Tell us its molecule structure, its chemicals reactions. Proof, we must have proof." They'll tell you, uncaring that their negative attitude of suspension kills any chance of obtaining that proof. but we must have tea. Likely struck a gong and gave an order to a llama who answered it. Shortly, the latter returned bringing tea as special, which had been imported from India. As we ate at the inmost one talked, telling me of India and China. He told me that he wanted me to study really hard so I can pick specials. He would pick special teachers for me. Could not simply not contain myself. I blurted out, "Oh no! Oh no! One can know more than my master, the Lama Minga Danda." The Dalai Lama looked at me and put his head back and roared with laughter. Probably no other person had spoken to him like that. Certainly no other AJ boy had. So masters, like there's some humor in here. It's funny. Even though it's offensive, he laughed. He seemed outraged. So you think Lama Mingya Dandap is good, you tell me? Tell me what you really think about him, you young game clock. Sir, I replied, you have told me that I have an exceptional powers of clairvoyance. Lama Mingya Dondap is the best person I've ever seen. The Dalai Lama laughed again and struck the gong at his side. Ask Mingya to come to me, he said. He said to the Lama who answered his summons. Lama Mingya Dondap entered and made his bows to the inmost one. Bring a cushion and sit down, Mingya, said the Dalai Lama. You have already told this, which I entirely agree. The Lama Mingya Dondap sat down beside me. And the Dalai Lama continued. You have accepted full responsibility for Lobsang Rampa's training. Plan it with you will and call upon me for any letters of authority. I will see him from time to time. Turning to me, he said, young man, you have chosen well. Guide is an old friend of my former days, is a true master of the occult. For a few more words, then we rose, bowed, and left the room. So now he did everything, and like he's happy that he's happy with his master. I could see that Lama Mingya Donna was secretly pleased with me or with the impression I made. We will stay here for a few days and explore the lesser known parts of the building. Some of the lower corridors and rooms have not been opened during the past 200 years. Learn much of the Tibetan history from these rooms. One moment, masters. Masters. One of the attendant lamas, there were none below that rank in the Dalai Lama's residence, approached and said that we should have a room each here at the top of the building. He showed us to the rooms and I was quite thrilled at the view. Right across Lhasa, right across the plain. The Lama said, His Holiness has given instruction that you can come and go as you please. No door be closed against you. Lama Mingya Dondap told me that I should lie down for a bit. The scar on my left leg was still causing much trouble. It was painful and I walked with a limp. At one time, I feared that would be a permanent cripple. For an hour I rested, and my guide came in and bearing tea and Lobsang. Time to fill out some of this horror's Lobsang. They eat well in this place, so let us make the most of it. I needed no further encouragement to eat. So he's hungry now and he has eaten. When we had finished, the llama Minga Donna led the way out of the room, and we went into another room on the far side of the flat roof. Here, to my profound amazement, the windows had been oil clothed and, and but were filled with nothingness which was just visible. I put out my hands and very cautiously touched the visible nothingness. To my astonishment, it was closed, as cold as ice, almost slippery. And then it dawned upon me, glass. I've never seen the stuff in a sheet before. He had used powdered glass on a kite string, but the glass had been thick and not clearly through it. It had been colored, but this was like water. But that was not at all. So like he's seeing everything in about the rooms and stuff. Four pieces appeared, each from inside the other. He laughed at the expression in my face, then poked one end of the tube of the window and brought the other length and close to his face. Ah, I thought, he was gonna play an instrument. But the end did not go to his mouth, but to one eye. He fiddled with the tube and then said, look through here, Lobsang. Look with your right eye and keep the left closed. I looked and I nearly fainted with stupefaction. A man on a horse was riding up the tube towards me. Jumped aside and I looked around. There was no one except Lama Minja Donda, shaking with laughter. I looked at him suspiciously, thinking that he had bewitched me. His, His Holiness said you're a marshal of Acute. I said, but how? But do you have but do you have to make fun of your pupil? He laughed all the more, motioned for me to look again. With considerable misgivings, I did so, and the guide moved the tube slightly and so that I saw a different telescope. Never before had I seen one. Never have I forgotten the sight of a man riding up inside the tube. I am often reminded when a person says impossible to a statement about the occult. That was certainly impossible to me. The Dalai Lama had brought a number of telescopes with him when he returned from India. He was very fond of looking around the surrounding countryside. Here too, I looked through the mirror for the first time and certainly did not recognize the horrible little looking creature that I saw. A pale-faced boy had a big, large red scar in the middle of his forehead with a nose undeniably prominent. Seen my faint reflection before in the water, but this is too plain. I have not bothered with mirrors since. Nay, Abby, through that Tibet was such peculiar country to be without glass, telescopes, or mirrors. But people did not want to see such things, nor did we want wheels. Wheels made for speed and for called civilization. We have long realized that in the rush of commercial life, there was no things for the mind. Okay, masters, let's jump into questions and feedback section. Okay, masters. So I'll ask every one of you how was the session today, and please turn on your videos, masters, at least for a question and answer. Okay, let's start off with Hakel. Hakel, is there any interesting part? Your favorite part? Was the session good?
Yeah, you explained it very well, but I have a doubt.
Yes, Hakel. I'm much excited to hear doubts.
Okay. At the last part was I didn't understand because I was not able to hear you that time because of my internet issue. So can you tell me the discussion of the Dalai Lama and Rampa?
Oh, so he said, Rampa, I know all about you. I know your life is going to be hard, but at the end, you will succeed eventually. And also, you will see many disasters in life, and you will be very shocked how the world can be so cruel with you, but at the end, you will get through. That's what he said. Hetal, how was the session, and what was your favorite part? And do you have any more doubts?
Now can you hear me?
Yeah. Did you
Yeah.
understand? Did you understand, Hetal?
Yes. Understood.
Any more questions?
Yeah, the other question is, why did the Dalai Lama laugh?
Because he knows that Lama Mingya Dondap was a good friend, and he's reliable on.
Okay. Is he going on a good part or the wrong part?
He's going on a good path. And by the way, Hetal, did you like the session?
Yes, I liked it.
And what was your favorite part?
Today, no favorite part. Everything
No,
now.
right? If he used his third eye a little, it'd be good, right?
What?
If he used his third eye, it would be good, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully in the next session he would do. Or if I had a third eye, I'd have looked at Dalai Lama and recognized his character. Okay, let's give a chance to another person. Is that it? Okay, Josha.
What I liked about this session would be I think the part where he thinks he gets scared of a man riding on a horse towards him inside the telescope. He thinks it's coming really towards him. How that scared him was really funny.
Okay,
The feedback, I think you should, something you should do is like you really are good. You can tell it really good. And I think the way you tell it, I think everyone would understand it that way. So you just are really good at telling this.
thank you. Anything else? And did you like the session?
I like the session really much, and nothing else.
Okay, thank you, Josha. Ready?
The session was amazing and you told the story very well. I don't have a favorite part this time, and I really wish they used the third eye. It would be even more fun and interesting.
Yeah, me too. But hopefully he can do something with his third eye, because the whole book is called the third eye. So
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, nothing else.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay, Ryan?
Yes.
Uh,
So favorite part of the session was probably at the end. Remember when the Dalai Lama, remember when he said the like some quote to the boy? I mean, I forgot his name, but he said that quote I loved. It was really nice, and it showed the true definition of life, pretty much. And like the others had mentioned before, yeah, it would have been the session. I would have liked it more if the third eye would have been used.
yeah, but it's not really in my hands, to control. Like, okay,
All up
but
to, okay. Oh, and Mukund, I have a feedback for you. Okay. I like I said last session, I really loved how you spoke. Like, try and keep it humorous. But I have a quick thing you have to like a bit like wish for you. So sometimes maybe like one or two words every session. Sometimes you mispronounce it, and those words you do. Maybe try and practice them to help you and others.
okay.
Saying anything wrong, you do really well. I'm just saying maybe that's something you can improve on.
Yeah, sure.
It's okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan.
No problem.
Okay, Joshua. I think you can stop the recording because I think we'll continue the hobbies thing.